Hey, Minnesota. Are you going to beat Indy? Hey, Indianapolis. You going to beat the hell out of Minnesota?
We are playing to this crowd.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. They have lined themselves up. This is fantastic.
Oh, okay. Last night when they started jawing at each other, I'm like, oh.
All right. You're starting it off.
Yeah.
So you're taking the throw. Go ahead and start us off, get us going, and we're going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to throw to you something about the rivalry.
Okay.
And something about the fact that
I'm going immediately from the rivalry to the crowd participation.
Yeah. Cool. I think I'll try and end with, is this the best rivalry in the SFL? And we can take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys ready? We are ready to rock.
I think we're good.
Oh, well, we're going now. Okay. Hey, I'm glad you asked.
Live from Northwood Stadium in St. Paul, Minnesota, it's time for day number 2 of the Simulation Football League's 21st season. This is the matchup you've all been waiting for. It's the Indianapolis Ramblers and the Minnesota Legend. Two teams, one intense rivalry. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company and happy to have the company of Chris Curtis. Chris, I have to ask you, is this the best rivalry in the SFL?
I don't know. Convention. Is this the best rivalry in the SFL? Wow, I don't know that's the answer I was looking for. Is this the best rivalry in the SFL? There you go. We got football on screen. We got the Hall of Famer Mike Torello next to me. It's Saturday morning. It's Saturday morning. It is Saturday morning.
It is Saturday
Sorry,
morning.
I'm a day in the past. It's fine. We're ready for football. Hopefully you guys are as well. Gonna be a good day.
Chris Curtis woke up about 5 minutes ago.
Yes, I did.
It does not matter. We are ready to hit the football field at Northwood Stadium. Minnesota, in their Stomp Indy check engine light green and black uniforms, will get the ball first, kneel down to the back of the end zone. There are so many things to talk about with these uniforms, this stadium. It's all been customized specifically for this rivalry. You've got the check engine light on the shoulders. You've got Stomp Indy in the stripe down the pants.
I'll tell you, if Minnesota could have stopped Indy fans from coming to convention, they absolutely would have. But here we go.
First play from scrimmage is a handoff to Colin Hart, excuse me. And Hart picks up 7 yards. Here's the Minnesota Legends starting offense. Quarterback Johnny Reno, running back Colin Hart, Vin Calia, Deezer Powell, and Queg Mam, and Jay Taylor are the wide receivers. Jay Hayden at tight end. Jason France also at tight end. And on the offensive line is Dusty Wilson. 2nd down and 3. Handoff goes up the middle. Hart first down. And let's introduce you to the Indianapolis defense. On the defensive line, it's Mac Dre, Butch Metter, Derek Jenko. Linebackers, Kenneth Gaston Jr. and Adam Wiseman, Noah Davis and Telemac Scarborough, outside linebackers. Corners, Blake Bryan, Angel Maldonado, Ernest McCrae Sr. and Adam Nold. Safeties, Mike Ryan, Jack Russell, and Melodious Manning. First pass is right down the stripe on the middle of the field and caught for a first down by Deezer Powell. He comes to us from the Queen City Corsairs.
Yeah, Deezer Powell and Vin Calia, 2 of the biggest pickups in the offseason, and both of them by Minnesota. This offense, it begins and it ends with Colin Hart at running back and Johnny Reno at quarterback, but the support weapons now that you give Johnny Reno are huge in the form of Deezer Powell and Vin Calia.
Last season, Johnny Reno, third in the league in completion percentage, upwards of 75%. So he brings a strong passing attack, and giving him more weapons to work with is just going to make this Minnesota offense more explosive. First down and 10 for the legend. Reno forced to step back in the pocket, dump it off short to Powell. He makes a man miss and drags defenders for 9 yards. And last night we saw two very run-heavy games between Motor City and Carolina, and of course the opening game of the night, Baltimore and Florida. I think with all the offensive talent wide receiver that Minnesota has, they're going to have to air it out if they want to be successful in this game.
I mean, yeah, but if Colin Hart's going to be able to run the ball like he did in his first play, we'll get a chance to see him here.
He's going to be bottled up and dropped in the backfield.
Maybe you're right then.
Just to spite you, Mac Dre made the stop, and I don't know if you can hear the Indianapolis fans here at the convention. We have split the room. From the screen all the way to the right is Indy. From the screen all the way to the left is Minnesota. Johnny Reno back to pass. Dart over the middle, way overthrown, and incomplete. Second down and 10.
I think he was looking for Kalia on that. Kalia not able to be found on this particular play, but this is a receiver who caught 5 touchdown passes in a Monday night spectacular game a season ago. So he is definitely a weapon, and he will be looked for often in this offense.
Callie, the two-time All-Star, came over from the now ex-London Knights in the offseason. Reno looking, time to throw. It's tipped and incomplete. Strong hand from Mike Ryan, the fresh pickup from Indianapolis. Came over from Louisiana in the offseason and became their GM right out the gate.
This is that's good work by Dusty Wilson, the guard, and the rest of the offensive line for Minnesota. Gave Reno tons of time. Reno's got to do better at using the time he's given.
First third down faced on this drive by Minnesota. They're at the 46-yard line of Indianapolis, going right to left here in the first quarter. 7:46 to go in it. Reno under center, 5 wide, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Quick strike over the middle, and Deezer Powell finds some soft spot in the zone and picks up a first down inside the 30.
Third catch on this drive already for Deezer Powell, and all of them in the same area of the field, over the middle of that formation, taking advantage of the cover 2. That's good work from Deezer Powell, finding the opening. Good work by Reno to find his guy.
And they're picking on the rookie Melodious Manning at safety there. 5'10", 195, came in with a 74th pick in the draft. And good luck. You've got a 3-time All-Star running straight at you in your first regular season game. First and 10 from the legend. This has been a very well-composed drive. A good mix of run and pass. Colin Hart bounced it outside. Sheds 1 tackle. Sheds 2 tackles inside the 20. Sheds a 3rd tackle inside the 15. And down to the 14-yard line will set up Minnesota inside the SFL red zone.
That man's got butter on his ankles for sure. That's 3 that tried to tackle him right there. 2 and 3. If you didn't notice, Minnesota's crowd in the convention is teaching us how to count.
And before we get any further, I do want to shout out the Indianapolis uniforms as well, with the tire tracks on the jersey, the legend killer on the helmets. Quick strike over the middle. That was intended, I believe, for Powell again, and it's incomplete, overthrown. We have seen Reno do that a couple of times on this drive. When he does miss, he misses long.
Indianapolis's defense from a season ago, very good in goal line situations. This is a situation where they could really use 3 points instead of 7. See if they can stand up and bend, not break.
Last season, 17 sacks total between the defense. 6.5 of those came from Derek Jenko. Man in motion is Jason France. He'll move from the right side to the left side on 2nd and 10. Reno to pass. Plenty of time in the pocket again. He fires to the end zone. Cut for the touchdown. Jay Taylor. He hasn't made a catch on this drive before right now, and Minnesota takes an early lead.
It doesn't matter if he shows up in the beginning of the drive, but he showed up when it mattered. That's good work from Taylor. Another one, guess what? Over the middle of the formation. That seems to be the spot that they are picking on this Indianapolis defense, and it came to fruition on this first drive.
Taylor last season close to 1,000 yards receiving, average of 14.4, which was good for top 20 in the league, and 5 touchdowns receiving, which led the Minnesota Legend. So not surprising that he has been involved early in this one. The Legend take the opening drive, take almost half of the first quarter off the clock, Curtis, and score a touchdown, 11 plays, 79 yards.
That's a fantastic piece of work from the Minnesota Legend on their first drive. But now the Ramblers about to get the ball. Make some noise, Indianapolis.
And this could be extremely explosive because we have got one of the best passing offenses the league has ever seen last season. Colin Pierce, 4,500 passing yards. That's number 1 in the league. 403 completions, number 1 in the league. Top 5 in touchdowns with 28. And also Ryan Roosevelt, who had almost 2,000 receiving yards and 15 receiving touchdowns. Both of those, number 1 in the SFL.
Yeah, he's been Ryan Roosevelt, leading receiver last season in the SFL. He is definitely going to be a key on this offensive unit. And don't look now, but you got Jeff Banfield over here, Jay Viper, who was drafted a couple seasons ago. This is a team that has a very good offense. We'll see what they can do.
Not a lot of change on this offense. Only 4 players on it that were not here a season ago. Offset eye on first down. It's going to be a pass up the middle. One-handed snag. Get the stick-em on those gloves, Ryan Roosevelt.
Yeah, that's a high athleticism catch from a high athleticism receiver and a very good ball, believe it or not, because at this point Colin Pierce knows he can get his guy in that spot and have him make a play. He did it there.
Here's the Ramblers starting offense. Colin Pierce at quarterback, Christian Pierce at running back, Joel Harleman at fullback, Rob Hunt, Jay Viper, Ryan Roosevelt, and Jeff Banfield at wide receiver, Randy Pierce at tight end. On the offensive line, we have Hadrian Marlowe, Chad Rowland, Jimmy Hayes, and Tyler Menor. Pierce moves around in the pocket, and Roosevelt had the ball jarred loose by a vicious hit from Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo, he can lay the wood when needed for sure, but the funny thing about Colin Pierce is apparently he wanted to go ahead and do a 360 before he threw that ball. A little bit of a trick move showing off from the visiting ballpark.
I'll get you the Minnesota defense after this play. Offset I2 to the left, single right, with Pierce under center. We haven't seen a handoff to Christian Pierce yet. We won't this time either. It's a quick slant over the middle to the fullback, Joel Harleman. That's the first time I think we've seen that play run this week.
Yeah, you're right. The fullback just died, going over the middle off a quick hesitation route. That's a nice, efficient route to get a quick completion, get some momentum. And now a short third down. Minnesota has a chance to keep some momentum if they can get a stop right here at midfield. 3rd
down and 3, right on the check engine light logo at midfield, and Stomp Indy Go Home as well on that midfield logo. Great customization from Axel Raven and the Minnesota team. This is the first run to Christian Pierce. He goes absolutely nowhere, with Daniel Wright being the main man to make the tackle. Yeah, that is exactly what the defense from Minnesota was looking for. It gets gets Indy's offense off the field, and now the Legend have a chance to go up with a 2-possession lead. Christian Pierce not used very much in the run game last year, under 500 yards on 200 carries. The punt is away. It's caught at the 15-yard line and up to the 18-yard line. On the return goes the returner, Rick Evans. I didn't get you the Minnesota defense. I'll do that right now. Mark Mello, Axel Raven, Angela Meerkat, Brookie Burr, Buster Johnson and Max Knight on the defensive line, Jason Clay, Miles Gibson, Stephen Black, and Juan Mississippi at linebacker, Nicholas Frossel, Rick Evans, Cody Griffin, and Johnny Bravo at corner, Daniel Wright and Derek Meerkat at safety. Minnesota already with a 7-0 lead and the ball back again after an extremely efficient 11-play drive to start the game. Reno, time in the pocket, and he throws the screen. I think that was a tight end screen to Jason France, and France just dropped it. He did. He absolutely had a chance to make a play towards the sideline, get at least a couple yards on first down. Didn't do it. Expect them to go back to him. France not one to drop passes very often. France last season 762 yards on 70 carries with 70 receptions, with 3 touchdowns. 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in this first quarter. Reno looking short middle. That one is caught. Vincalia makes his first catch as a Rambler.
There you go.
Excuse me, as a legend.
Yeah, yeah. Don't say that too loud. You're gonna get some people coming over here and giving you the business. The Calia, good work on his first catch, and expect more targets for him probably in this drive as well.
They like this 3-receiver set with Colin Hart as a single back. Reno throwing middle, caught, and up to the 35-yard line. Jason France, you said he was going to get involved, and there he is.
Yeah, first one didn't go so well, but the thing about Jason France, high confidence player, short memory. He'll be able to grab that ball, bring it in, and more often than not, if he drops one, he's going to make up for it. He does it here.
You mentioned Dusty Wilson and the rest of that Minnesota offensive line. They are doing a fantastic job giving Johnny Reno time in the pocket against this Indianapolis pass rush. He's able to survey the defense and make his spots count. Very efficient early on. This time we overload the left-hand side of the formation with 3 receivers and the tight end out there. They will motion Deezer Powell across the formation, matched in kind by Ernest McCray Sr. Yet to see McCray and his 65 tackles last season make an impact on this game. Colin Hart takes the carry, and he goes backwards.
Yes, he does. That's a nice stop on the defensive side there to basically limit their first down yardage and make it a 2nd and long, 3rd and long. It gives Indianapolis a chance to get off the field.
This is completely opposite to what we saw yesterday, Chris.
Yeah.
All running all the time, and both of these teams have come out very pass-heavy.
Yeah.
2nd down at 11. Once again, a man in motion. It's Jason France. Let's see if they go back to him in the passing game. After a loss of 1 on 1st down, Reno, pressure comes, gets the ball out there, and it's incomplete. Another overthrow by Johnny Reno.
Yeah, Johnny Reno, the conversation on the sideline, I guarantee you, between drives was him needing to calm down. His offensive line is playing well. He needs to utilize the time in front of him and make a smart play. He's had a couple of throws now in this game that have not gone that particular way.
Johnny Reno in his 3rd season with the Minnesota Legend, 4th season overall, 6'4", 225. Tall enough to survey the defense over the offensive line. He's going to go deep down the middle. It's going to be broken up beautifully by Jack Russell. Another one of the London castaways makes a nice play there.
Yeah, he does. It's very good work on the defensive side. Super tight coverage, and there was no way he was going to get that ball uninterrupted on the receiving end. So good work. 4th down. The Ramblers going to get this ball back after a nice 3rd down stop.
First punt for the undrafted rookie Minnie Malillo. Let's see if they can pin the Ramblers deep. Catch going to be made at the 26-yard line, and the returner kind of ran into his own defender, own blocker rather. The defender fell down. Jeff Banfield might have had a chance to bounce to the outside and get some yards there.
Yeah, he could have, but unfortunately not able to do it at this particular time. There's going to be some conversation on the sideline of the blocker to put the lane together and for the returner to be a little more patient and let the blocks develop in front of him.
Second drive for Indianapolis. Got 2 first downs and then punted on their opening possession. Still down 7-0 here as we approach 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Colin Pierce in his 3rd season in the league. Hands off to Christian Pierce, and Pierce gets back to the line of scrimmage, and not a whole lot more. Stephen Black makes the tackle.
Spots were generous a night ago in the other games, but not so much on this one. It looked like he got a yard or 2 on that. Not so much as far as the spot goes.
Same formation, offset eye to the weak side. Linebackers creeping up towards the line, but they back off at the snap. It's thrown out in the flat and intercepted. Johnny Bravo is going to run all the way home for a Minnesota touchdown.
Those short passes can be a major problem if they're not put where they need to be. Johnny Bravo jumps the route, has nothing but green in front of him. That's a Minnesota touchdown, and you'd hear the crowd in the convention area that absolutely loves it as far as Minnesota faithful. 6 points.
Second pick 6 of the season, and if you're looking at the broadcaster cam on the second stream, we have a guest. It's the Minnesota legend himself has joined us in the broadcast booth.
How you feeling? Yeah? Good. How you feeling, Minnesota?
I mean, their team is up 13, soon to be 14-0 as Mickey Malillo sets up for this extra point here in the first quarter. Just when you thought Indianapolis was gaining some offensive momentum back, it is snatched away by the defense of Minnesota. This is a defense that gave up a fair amount of points last year, 22 a game, good for 5th in the SFL, but their pass yards per game was almost 300, so their passing defense, not fantastic.
No, you're exactly right. One thing I've missed these last 2 touchdowns is I've missed Cliff Allen yelling, "Yeah, special teams," after every play.
2 broken tackles up to the 36-yard line. Jay Viper on the return. That's something we got to look out for
There he
in
is.
this new era. Chris, is there are 2 players back there to return kicks, and you don't know who it's going to.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of where the kick's going and where they're lined up. So it can be a chance for some deceptive returning by either side, and those 2 returns, if you're smart, 2 different skill sets.
And this is the second time we've seen the kick return defense for Minnesota be a little bit shaky. Something to watch as the game goes forward. Maybe Indianapolis could break a big return some point later in this game. 1st and 10 for Indianapolis, now down 14. Got to push the pace a little bit. Thrown deep over the middle, and coming back to the football is Ryan Roosevelt to make the catch and make Indianapolis' first foray into Minnesota territory.
One of the best to do it as far as the communication connection between quarterback and wide receiver. Colin Pierce finding Ryan Roosevelt, and those 2 understand each other. Ryan Roosevelt knows what his quarterback needs, puts himself in a spot to make a play, even if it's not the designed route.
15 touchdowns and almost 2,000 receiving yards last year. And let's not forget that Jeff Banfield had over 1,000 receiving yards on 99 catches last year. So he's out there as well. Pass it to the flats, and our first penalty flag of the game as the receiver was dragged down before he could attempt to make the catch.
Yeah, pass interference. We saw it a couple times last night as well, and you just got to give the man a chance to catch the football and let him drop it on his own if he's going to. But that is absolutely contact, a push, and the ball wasn't there yet.
Rick Evans, little jumpy on the contact there, gives Indianapolis a first down. You see the hashtag legend killer on the uniforms. That's the second uniform I've seen from a team with a hashtag on the front of the jersey instead of the team name. The other one being Jacksonville. They have hashtag Duval on the front. There's a nice strike, and once again, it's Ryan Roosevelt, another first down for Indianapolis, and this is the kind of drive we expected out of the Ramblers in this game.
Yeah, a little bit of opening game jitters. It makes sense. Second drive coming out for the Ramblers, and this is the kind of offense that we expect to see from them. Ryan Roosevelt going to get targets often and going to get targets effectively in this offense, and Minnesota probably has to send an extra man to help out with him on defense.
And you mentioned it a little bit, but the timing impeccable between quarterback and receiver right after he cleared the linebackers and before he got to the safeties. Pierce in the flat. Oh, it's caught. It almost looked like that was going to be picked off again, but Jeff Banfield made the catch and tippy-toed out of bounds after a gain of 9.
Good footwork from Banfield, but there was a legend cornerback that was stalking that pass, and good placement there by Christian to make sure it didn't get there.
You're low and away at the outside hip. That's what they teach you, right? To keep it away from the defenders. 2nd down and 1. We haven't seen Christian Pierce more than 2 times in this game. Let's see if we see him here on a short scenario. We do see him run up the middle. First down, breaks a tackle, trying to get to the outside. But the defender says absolutely not. Cody Griffin says, I saw yesterday's games. You're not doing that.
Hey, you know what? But that's a positive run for the Indy offense, and it's not something they've had so far in this game. Good first down there. Maybe give them a little bit of momentum, and now they're on the money side of the field.
First down and goal. This is where it matters from the 10. Can't get a first down without a touchdown. Christian Pierce with nobody to his left. It's going to be a weak side handoff. Christian Pierce is not going to get the edge and be tackled by Daniel Wright.
That's the danger with the weak side. If you don't have the edge, you don't catch the defense by surprise, you've got 4 Sasquatches headed your way, and they are going to take you down if you're good enough to get out there.
Pierce looking, middle, caught at the 2, but not in to the end zone. That's the second time we've seen that fullback cross from Joel Harleman.
Yeah, it's effective, though. There was nobody in his immediate area able to make a nice catch. Good hands by the big man. Now the question becomes, do they rely on Christian Pierce here to get the football in the short yardage situation like earlier? We'll see after the break.
It's the end of the first quarter. It's a good quarter for the Minnesota Legend. They lead it 14-0 in their opening game of the season. If you want Indianapolis to score here, make some noise! If you want Minnesota to stop them, make some noise! Seems like the Minnesota fans have the edge in the crowd right now. Maybe that'll change on this play. 3rd down and goal from the 3. Colin Pierce hands to Christian Pierce. He's got a lane. He dives in and acrobatically scores Indianapolis' first touchdown of the season.
Seems like now that they've scored, the Indianapolis crowd got a little bit louder. What do you think?
I think so. And
good work. Good work from Christian. Be able to take advantage of the short yardage situation. Very similar to the 2-yard first down he got earlier, but gaining confidence. That's exactly what Indy needed. They don't need to pass every single down as they showed there.
I think he has a little bit of a flair for the dramatic, too. I don't think he really needed the dive, but it was nice to see. Topper Kiefer on for the extra point. It's up and good, and this is a 7-point game once again.
There's Cliff Allen. We love you, man.
I can't believe that man still has a voice. He went after the soccer game on Thursday and yelling his lungs out on every extra point and field goal last night. It's insane.
He's got some tea up in his room. He's fine.
Kickoff.
That's not tea.
Kickoff back to Minnesota. They are going to bring it out of the end zone. Up to the 20, 25, spins away, past the 30 and close to the 35-yard line. So that's probably the best kickoff return we have seen so far today from Rick Evans.
Both teams now showing that they have some kickoff return prowess, and both teams showing that they have some fault on the kickoff return coverage. Look for some fireworks a little bit later in this game, possibly.
Just getting started in the second quarter. If you're just joining us from further afield, my name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Chris Curtis alongside me in commentary live from the SFL convention in beautiful Covington, Kentucky, across the river from Cincinnati, Ohio. And if we were to turn straight around and look out the window, we had a beautiful view of downtown Cincinnati behind us, as you saw on the commentary cam last night. Reno looking, throwing, caught in double coverage. How about that? From Vincalia.
Yeah, that's exactly his 3rd catch of the game so far, and catches like that are what we've grown to expect from Calia on the athleticism side. Good work to find the hole, talking about Johnny Reno, into double coverage. Very good placement, giving only his guy a shot at catching it.
Something to watch out for in this contest is if he has a big day, Johnny Reno could eclipse 10,000 career passing yards. He's only 237 away at the start of the game. Reno wants to get there. Throws, tipped, and almost picked. It was in and out of the hands of Mike Ryan, and the Louisiana Revolution transfer could not make it stick.
You know what? If he's in a suit and tie, he makes that catch.
Of course, having other responsibilities aside from just being a free safety. He's also their GM now.
Yeah, true.
Came right in and started work. Look at this defensive formation. Everybody in the box or up on the line to try and defend against this passing attack. 2nd and 10 as Calia goes in motion. Reno going to hand the ball off. An excellent defense, but Colin Hart sheds 2 tackles, gets a block on the outside. He's got one man to beat.
Oh!
He spins past the defender and drags him into the end zone. Colin Hart with the highlight of the week. I will bet my life on it. That's a top 10 play right there.
That is absolutely a top 10 play. Colin Hart putting the spin move and taking the Hearts out of the Indianapolis Ramblers defense on this run. There's 1. There's 2. Nearly 3 broken tackles. Actually, he had more than that with the spin. What a play by Colin Hart. You put the ball in the hands of your playmakers. They do jobs like that. Great work from Colin Hart.
I thought Mike Ryan was going to have him for maybe a gain of only 2 off the left-hand side. He was right there. He shook that tackle, and then I thought that Ernest McCrae Sr. was going to keep him out of the end zone. He spun away from him. McCrae caught back up, and then Hart had the athleticism and the strength to drag the bigger defender into the end zone for the touchdown.
Another extra point. That's awesome. But yeah, it's a crazy run from Colin Hart. He's able to show the individual effort, the individual talent that he has in the open field. He's done it for seasons in the SFL. Now a chance to show it on the big stage at convention, and now it's Indy back with the ball.
Colin Hart probably not going to get there today, but he has 49 carries from passing Keith Swearingen for 5th all time. He's been in the league for 11 seasons now. It's weird. You blink, and half a decade's gone by.
Yeah, 5.5 years right there.
I still remember calling Colin Hart's broadcast as a rookie in Sioux Falls.
You aging yourself, sir?
A little bit. I'm kind of in a remembrance mood after last night's Hall of Fame ceremony. That pass is incomplete, overthrown, intended for Jeff Banfield. So both quarterbacks a little bit jittery here in the first quarter, although Johnny Reno seems to have settled down the best.
Yeah, at least at the moment. We'll see. But Johnny Reno's had a chance to utilize Colin Hart and his run game a lot more than Colin Pierce has to this point.
Even though Christian Pierce has the one Indianapolis touchdown, there's an efficient play, a little slant route to Jeff Banfield to drop the pass on the previous play. And it's a first down for Indianapolis. A lot of talk being made, Curtis, about the new contracts system that we have and who's got the biggest contracts and where they're coming from. Both teams have their biggest contract on defense. Nicholas Frossel, the cornerback for Minnesota, and Jack Russell, the safety for Indianapolis, have the biggest contracts on these teams.
Yeah, that makes sense. They pride themselves on their defense if they can, and they want to put all their resources there. And Indy's receivers, there's not $1.5 million contract on this roster.
A strike down the middle, Roosevelt in traffic, over the shoulder catch, high-level wide receiver play.
Yeah, that's a fantastic bit of perception from Roosevelt. This ball headed basically at his head, and he's able to turn, look, get the hands up, grab that, and make a football move to secure the ball before the hit happens, which is half a second later. That's really good work from Roosevelt. That's
really like an A-go-only route. He was only ever looking for Roosevelt on that play. Just step back, 3-step drop, fire it down the middle, and trust that his guy is going to go make the catch. Pierce, pressure in his face, has got the ball out there quickly, and it's incomplete. And Johnny Bravo might have had a play on it, but he couldn't turn around fast enough.
Yeah, not quite enough on it to get hands on it and keep it in his possession. But in this case, it worked out. The ball hit the ground either way.
Obviously not the correct all-time stats for Johnny Bravo, but he does have 518 career tackles, 2 sacks, 23 tackles for loss, 49 interceptions, 2 of those returned for touchdowns. From the 46-yard line, Pierce into traffic and incomplete. He was looking for Joel Harleman again, and the fullback probably not really equipped to make a catch like that in traffic.
Well, good timing by the linebacker as well. That play has been used on him twice so far. Knew where that ball was going. Good timing to make the hit, make the contact as it got there.
3rd down and 10. Got to be on the arm of Colin Pierce in the hands of his receivers here. He's in the gun. 4 wide receivers spread out, 3 to the left, single right. Pierce backs way up. Pressure coming. The ball comes out. They say it's a forward pass, that the arm was moving forward, but the Minnesota defense brought the blitz, and Indianapolis was not ready for it.
First time we've seen big-time pressure like that against Colin Pierce, and he folded like a cheap suit on that particular play. We'll see if he can improve on that, get the ball out a little bit quicker as this drive comes to an end for Indianapolis.
Second punt of the game for Indy, and both teams have been moving the ball pretty effectively. It's just that little bit better defense for Minnesota has been the difference in this game, as they've put the ball in the end zone twice on offense and once on defense, and Indianapolis only once in that time. But I believe if we look at the offensive yardage numbers, they're probably pretty similar.
I would say so, yeah. The efficiency on the plays and the number of plays. I think Minnesota's had more offensive plays just from their strength of their drives. But as far as Indianapolis goes, they'll get there. But they need to. I think they need a little more balance, to be honest with you.
Handoff, Colin Hart. He showed what he can do in a previous drive. It breaks one tackle, cannot get away from Adam Wiseman, the 8-year veteran.
Yeah, good work to the outside, and have Colin Hart already showed he can utilize that stretch run, utilize that power run to the outside and get that edge, so they'll use it until they stop him.
And it's a nice weapon to have, right, even though you're not going to run a majority of the time because you've got Johnny Reno back there. And now that they have the lead and are just kind of looking to bleed this clock at the end of the first half, you will see a lot more Colin Hart up the middle.
Yeah, and they're utilizing second down really well, too, Minnesota is. They're making third down shorter. They're making more opportunities for them to get first downs on need-to-do-it situations like this. This is a chance, I think, for Colin Hart to utilize his short yardage abilities.
You saw Hart's stats right there. This time it's a weak side pitch. Hart spins away from 1 and 2 and gets a first down near the 30-yard line. Tackle made eventually on the back end by Butch Menner.
And that's what you can do with a running game you can trust. You put Hart in a position to succeed, and he's typically going to do that. Good work from the 11th-season veteran.
Hart, probably this season, going to eclipse 3,000 career carries as he barrels forward for 8. And currently sitting at 13,000 rushing yards, which is 4th all-time, and 132 rushing touchdowns, which is 3rd all-time. Of course, the 2 players ahead of him are still active, so he's not going to overtake anybody anytime soon, but one of the legends of this league, no pun intended.
Legend on the legend team, yeah, pun definitely intended there. That's good work from Hart. Again, if you're at this point Johnny Reno, there's no reason to do anything else other than hand it off to Colin Hart.
Indianapolis stacks the box. Colin Hart says, I don't care, I'm just going to run by it. And he gets a block. Does he have the speed to get to the outside? McCray is chasing him again. Colin Hart inside the 10, inside the 5, touchdown. Minnesota, another long TD run for Colin Hart.
Yeah, the outside run has been money for Minnesota. Colin Hart showing another reason why he has been electric all afternoon. Great work from the Minnesota offensive line and the tight ends and wide receivers to seal that edge for their star running back.
He's just got so much speed once he gets to the outside. He's shown us a little bit of everything today. Strength, shiftiness, breakaway speed. He's got it all.
Yeah, the inability to get dizzy. He's put a couple of people in the spin cycle today. It's good work from him. He's over the century-and-a-half mark already, and we're not even at the first half mark, or the first half break.
And it feels like this game was close like 5 minutes ago, and Minnesota now has a 28-7 lead before halftime.
Yeah, I did not expect, I don't think anybody expected, even the Minnesota faithful, it didn't expect them to be this far out in front at this point of the game. But a lot of football, yeah, I hear you over there. A lot of football left. We'll see if Indianapolis can start the comeback trail with this drive.
Well, the Ramblers right now have had a little bit of engine trouble. They're not dead on the road yet, but maybe they need some more gas. Here's a return for Indianapolis. This time not going to go very far, up to the 27-yard line from Banfield. And this is going to be tough for Indianapolis. We've seen it be tough for all teams, both in the preseason and yesterday, that when teams are down in games, it's kind of hard for them to come back because of the AI's tendency to just run the ball aggressively when they get a lead.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, the other thing, too, is the tendency to run the ball when it's working and continue to push the point home. So see where Indianapolis' defensive adjustments are.
Pierce, short over the middle. That's Harleman again, and that might be their most consistently successful play. 4 out of 5 times they've run it, they've picked up significant yardage.
They have, and they've typically run it on early down situations as well to make things easier for them in second and third down.
2nd down and 2. Maybe they do want to use Christian Pierce here. They're in the I formation with only a single receiver. They do hand it off to him up the middle, weaving his way through for a 1st down. Tackle made by Miles Gibson. Came over from Tulsa in the offseason.
Another one that finds its way forward for Christian Pierce. He's been usable in short yardage situations. Want to see him potentially break one if they would utilize him in that spot, which they really haven't yet to this point.
This time they go offset on the I. 4:55 and counting to go in the first half. Pierce looking, pressure comes, has to get the ball out there, and it's tipped away. I'll tell you what, this secondary from Minnesota has been very impressive today, especially Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny Bravo has made multiple plays on the ball. He's been in the spot he's needed to be most of the day. One thing that Indianapolis is not doing, they're trying to force the ball vertical. They're not going horizontal and letting the athleticism of Christian Pierce be utilized in the backfield, get him upfield that way. Maybe that's a way they go. Screen pass would be a really good idea right now.
4-man rush, Pierce middle, and finding Roosevelt all over the middle. That's the other play that they've run consistently well, is that little post pattern for Roosevelt.
Yeah, he's made that catch 3 or 4 times so far today, and each time's caught the defense by surprise on it. Safeties are going to eventually start creeping up on him, realizing where that ball is going. So, and if you're in Indianapolis, you still got to sprinkle that in.
That's really up to the safeties, Daniel Wright and Derek Meerkat, to be more aggressive coming down against those plays. If you sit too far back, then they're going to have that middle of the field open all day long. Pierce looking. Here comes the blitz. He gets the ball out there low and away, and Banfield adjusts nicely and makes the grab.
Yeah, good work from Banfield to see where that ball is going, knowing the hit is coming as well. Great focus from him. Those short outside the numbers passes are dangerous for Colin Pierce. It turned into the pick 6 earlier. We want to see if maybe they start eliminating that from the playbook.
2nd and 1. They've gone back to the I. It's going to be Pierce trying to pick his way through. It's close. He's not going to get there.
Want to see a spot check on this. I'm not 100% sure he didn't get that, but it looks like they're going to live with the result.
Angela Meerkat made the tackle, sets up 3rd and inches. Exact same formation. Christian Pierce dotting the I. They go fullback dive, and the fullback gets in there. That's Chad Rowland, the offensive tackle, shifted to fullback in the formation subs, and he gets a 1st down. How do you like that?
There you go. Rowland lives matter. I like it.
This is what I love about the new engine, Curtis. If we can take a step back and talk league-wide news for a second. I love that you can do stuff like that. I love what Motor City did last night where they motioned tight ends to wide receiver spots. Here's Pierce up the middle. He says, stop talking about the league and start talking about me, because that's his best run of the night for 9 yards.
That is absolutely, and it's on an early down situation, not in a 3rd and 2, not in a 2nd and 1. That's a 1st and 10 run for Christian Pierce, and if he continues to do that, he'll get the ball more on early downs.
Indianapolis touching the SFL presented by APM Music Red Zone. Line up at the 21 on 2nd and 1. The linebackers move to the outside. Pierce, hesitation, finds a hole. 1st down at the 16.
Get him into the red zone. There's another opportunity for Indianapolis to make this game a little bit closer. So they're in field goal range to get themselves at least some points. This has been a fantastic drive by Indianapolis, however, taking quite a bit of time off the clock. Down
3 scores, though. I think you do need a touchdown going into halftime to really maybe think that the pendulum of momentum is swinging back your way. Pierce going to throw out to Pierce. Tries to turn the corner, can't do it. Wrapped up and dropped by Cody Griffin.
Colin needs a little bit better lead on that pass for Christian. Has to turn around back towards his quarterback to catch that ball instead of going upfield. Got to utilize the throw ahead and throw into the route, and that hits the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning. Indianapolis trying to come back in this first half, and while we get a little bit of a break, I want to go back to the point I was trying to make earlier, because with this new engine, coaches can be much more creative about formations and about where they place their players, and defensive coordinators are probably going to be pulling their hair out watching these games this week, saying, oh, they're flexing a tight end to the outside wide receiver spot, they're putting a tackle at fullback. How are we going to adjust to cover this? Pierce, middle, end zone, caught for the touchdown. He crossed the plane, and Ryan Roosevelt has his first TD of the season.
That is the Ryan Roosevelt play, as it has been shown all day long. That post route over the middle, he's caught that ball 4 or 5 times at this point. This time for pay dirt. I want to see where this ball crosses right. There.
He's pushed.
Okay. Yep.
He's pushed into the end zone by Daniel Wright. I think that the first man to the ball, it was Cody Griffin, was going to keep him out of the end zone, but Wright came in, tried to help, tackling from behind, but in the end pushed the receiver into the end zone.
Good work from Roosevelt to basically stay upright, try to stretch that ball over as well, and Indianapolis gets it back to within 2 scores. Cliff Allen, make some noise.
11 plays, 73-yard drive. That sounds like a Minnesota-esque drive right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the kind of, well, you say that, but then there's been a couple of drives Minnesota's had today that have gone for quick hit touchdowns. So kind of a role reversal as far as that goes. Indianapolis with a really, really nice methodical drive downfield.
Nice kickoff by Kiefer, and it's kneeled down 5 yards deep in the end zone, and first touchback of the game, ball the Minnesota 20. Now with 3 timeouts, a minute 55 left, Minnesota doesn't have to panic here. They can go down, still be methodical, still use the run game, and maybe look to get at least 3 more on the board before halftime.
I actually expect them, if they're going to run this ball at all, it's going to go to Colin Hart on the outside.
Well, right now it is going to go to Colin Hart on a stretch play to the strong side left, and he only gets 4 yards on that one. Adam Wiseman first man to him from his linebacker spot.
Yeah, it's a good defensive work by Indianapolis, seeing where that ball is going. Clock is going to continue to tick, tick, tick away, and I believe it was Minnesota that is going to get this ball at the start of the second half, no?
No, it is Indianapolis.
It is Indianapolis, okay.
Because Minnesota scored on their opening drive. That was the 11-play, 73-yard drive to open the game. So if Indianapolis can hold them here, they do have momentum going into the second half. Colin Hart says, what momentum? And then Jack Russell says, this momentum, as he puts him in the ground.
Good. And now a 3rd and 4, and got to give a chance, I think, to Johnny Reno to throw the ball here. And it's good defensive work on this drive by Indianapolis to force them into this situation. I don't see them going to Hart on this play.
12 yards a carry in this first half for Colin Hart. Incredible. They do go to him. He gets a block. He's dragging a defender and picks up the first down. That was Ernest McCray Sr. again. He has been victimized by number 23, Raren Green, today.
Yes, he has. And I tell you what, the run play in this situation kind of tells us where Minnesota's mentality is at. If they break with Colin Hart, they will absolutely take it. But they're fine with the momentum the way it is in a 2-score lead going into the half.
Split backs, first time we've seen this from Minnesota today. Powell goes in motion off to the left-hand side. It is going to be a rollout from Marino. He's got defenders there. He's going to go short to Colin Hart on a check down. Hart makes a tackle, gets away from a defender, still going into the Indianapolis territory just across the 50. Colin Hart has been electric in this first half.
Yeah, he has. He's been in multiple situations as well. You put players in places to make plays. Typically, they're going to do that if they have the ability. Colin Hart, no exception to that.
From the 49, just across the midfield stripe. 55 seconds left in this first half. Reno going to throw against the blitz, and he's got a receiver out there. It's Jason France inside the 30 and into field goal range. Timeout number 2 taken by the legend.
Yeah, the chance to at least get 3 points here if they can. Love the way this drive is formulating for the legend. They would love to get this back to a 3-score lead before the end of the half.
That almost felt like a little bit of impatience from the Indianapolis defense. They sent the house, and the tight end was wide open over the middle. Minnesota looking for a statement before halftime. Colin Hart on a delayed handoff. This time, first contact brings him down, but not before a gain of 6. Minnesota takes their 3rd and final timeout.
9 seconds left. You got to wonder if this is the time they bring out the field goal unit and get the 3 points. I think they probably will here. They could take a shot at the end zone if they wanted to, but no, they're going to take the 3 points here.
I see Sasquatch, Mickey Melillo, out there to attempt a 40-yard field goal. It is up. It looks like it might be wide to the right. It sneaks barely inside the post from Melillo, and it's 31-14 headed to halftime.
Yeah, love the drama. Mickey Melillo just a little bit to the right. You can see it just about squeak the upright as it goes through. Good work to take advantage of the opportunity. 3 points for Minnesota and make it a 17-point advantage.
If I'm Mickey Melillo, I am kicking this one as hard as possible. Just try and get it out of the back of the end zone. No return for Banfield, and Banfield will indeed take a knee. So we'll get one play with 4 seconds left, and it might just be Indianapolis will choose to run this ball ahead to the halftime interval.
Absolutely should be just a Christian Pierce run just to see if they can maybe break something, but we'll see.
Well, 2 nice touchdown drives from Indianapolis have been completely canceled out by 31 Minnesota points, and they've got them every which way you can imagine. Pierce is going to take the shot. It is going to be it's going to be caught at the 50-yard line by Roosevelt, but he's far and away short of the end zone, and we head to halftime. As I was saying, Minnesota scored any way you want. Long runs, short runs, passes, an interception return. It has been all legend in this first half outside of those 2 nice drives by Indianapolis. They have not had enough consistent offense to stay with the assault that is coming from the legend side.
Yeah, but if you're Indianapolis, you realize those 2 drives actually worked really well. So if you can get back to those, you don't need to change a whole lot as long as you can formulate that together. So let's see if they can continue that in the second half. They really need to button up the defense, though. Stop Colin Hart on the outside. The adjustments are definitely needed that way.
Well, we gotta have a new tradition here in the SFL broadcast booth. What is this? We've got no! It's a Chris Curtis special. If you're not watching the Broadcaster Cam alternate stream, you have no idea what is going on here. Chris, I guess I'm going to have to talk for a while because Chris Curtis has some cream on his face. So he's working it out. So we look at some halftime stats here. Colin Hart, 15 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's my player of the half for sure. No, don't you dare, Chris Curtis. Don't you dare. The halftime player, I thought it was going to be Colin Hart. It was indeed Colin Hart. We go to the second half. Our halftime show was hijacked by one Tyler Falk and his 2 cans of whipped cream.
Tell you what, if he focuses more on making defensive plays, maybe his team would be ahead.
Ooh. We've had all sorts of visitors in the broadcast booth today. We've had Sasquatch, we've had Mike Ryan, a.k.a. Tyler Falk, and that's just the joy of the convention is being around people that you talk to online all the time. You get to hang out in person. Crazy stuff like this happens. You're all together in the same room, and it's a great broadcasting experience. I talk to people all the time about, why do you want to broadcast games so much? Why is convention broadcast so important to you? To me, it's the one time as a broadcaster where you're kind of the center of attention, because in the normal games, they can't really see you. You're just a voice adding onto the game. In like sports outside the SFL, which I do a lot, you're really not important. You're trying to tell the story of the players and the story of the game. Here, everybody's right here. They can see you. They can interact with you. It is unlike any other experience I ever had. Christian Pierce puts a defender into the ground. He says, "Shut up, Turillo. No waxing poetic. Get back to the game."
That's fantastic for Christian Pierce. Let's go back to the game, as you alluded to. That's awesome, and a heck of a first message out of the halftime break by Indianapolis. And tell you what, if they can use that as motivation to move forward, Indianapolis can make a game out of this after all.
Yeah, and it's really going to be on the Indy defense to step up and not allow Minnesota to rattle off 30 more points in this second half. If the offense from Indianapolis can continue to try and creep back into this one, second play of the half, It's going to be a Colin Pierce throw, middle, caught. Roosevelt dragging defenders into Minnesota territory at the 40-yard line.
2 plays, they've moved probably about 30 yards. That's real good work from Indianapolis. Much more efficient from them on this first drive of the second half.
And you know that Adam Wiseman and Colin Pierce and Tyler Falk, all the organization people there in the locker room were saying, we've got to be more aggressive on offense. We're down 31-14. We got to put points on the board, and we got to do it now.
140 yards already for Roosevelt. We just started the second half. That's really good numbers from him.
Plenty of time in the pocket, throwing across the body, caught by Banfield. Only a game of 3 there for Jeff.
Just a reminder that we're live in Covington, just across from Cincinnati. Convention, make some noise.
And we have so many more games to get to
Yes,
today.
we do.
I'll pull up the schedule in a little bit so you can get all the action coming your way straight from the horse's mouth. But we've got blocks of 4 games. We've got commentated games in between. You don't want to miss a second of SFL action today. Here comes the blitz, short over the middle, and that's a position we haven't seen Ryan Roosevelt in this game. He's not really been the short cross guy.
Yeah, I just heard Cameron Irvine next to me go, so many more. Full schedule of action today. It's going to be a great day.
Pierce in the shotgun on 3rd and 7 after the incompletion. Stomps his feet to move Roosevelt across the formation. Pierce against a 3-man rush. Has all the time in the world to let it go. And it's tipped and incomplete. He was looking for Rob Hunt. That would have been his first catch of the game, but Wright was right on the spot to make the play.
Rob Hunt's first target is 40 yards downfield. That's a bit of confidence there, but a heck of an effort on 3rd down. But Indianapolis' drive, first one of the second half, stalls out, and they got to punt it away.
Just outside field goal range, too. Kiefer not a chance to get on the field. That's going to be fair caught at the 10-yard line. They'll place it at the 12. That's the first fair catch we've seen today from either team. Both return men have been very aggressive.
As they should be. The kickoff returns and that have gone very well when they've been returnable, but the kickers trying to have a contest between themselves, getting touchbacks if they can.
Last night we saw maybe one of the standout individual performances of the season. It was only day 2. Charlie Beletsky blitzed Baltimore on the ground last night. Reno going deep, overthrown again and incomplete. And even if it was on target, I think the receiver was in triple coverage.
Yeah, he needed a stepladder to get to it. So good work from the defense to basically just keep him in front of him. And that ball from Reno needs to be much calmer.
And then Motor City in the second game used the tight ends of the passing game with those 2-quarterback system to dominate Carolina at Carolina and move to 1-0. This is a big chance for Indy to get a stop. They send the blitz, and wide open over the middle is Vin Kalia. They have tried to blitz a couple of times, sending both linebackers and some corners as well, and both times it's been an easy pitch and catch for Minnesota.
Yeah, the pressure that has come to really give Reno trouble hasn't been the linebackers. It's been when the defensive backs have blitzed, and it's only happened once or twice so far, and it's caused overthrows. So not sure what he's seeing that's not giving him pressure from the linebackers, but good work from Reno there.
This is an interesting set. Look at the 2 tight ends split out to the left. They both go in motion into the formation, and Jason France makes the catch.
Perfect.
Oh, look at the Stomp Indy in the crowd here in Cincinnati. Stomp Indy in the crowd in Minnesota. We got Stomp Indy everywhere.
Yeah, it's all over the place. And Jason France, he had the one drop earlier, and since then has been one of the more consistent targets for Reno in this offense. This time a crossing pattern over the middle from left to right. Another good ball from him, his 3rd catch.
And every time we think that Indianapolis' defense may be turning the corner and giving their offense a chance, Johnny Reno and his receivers just do that. Another beautiful pass. This time a double coverage catch is made for a first down by Jay Taylor.
Jay Taylor, who had the touchdown earlier, he's been infrequent, but he's been effective when he has his hands on the football. This is a good-looking post route. He had a little bit of contact there from the defense, stopping him from the original post route, but he still made it work in Reno with a real good communication with his receiver, making it happen.
I'm waiting for Johnny Reno's stats to pop up. Remember, 237 passing yards at the start of the day from 10,000 yards on his career. We are waiting potentially for that milestone, but they are going to run to Colin Hart here up the middle. Not going to find much love, only 3 yards right up the gut. Noah Davis made the tackle.
And the adjustment looks to be okay as far as Indianapolis' defense is concerned on Colin Hart. They force him back to the inside where he is less effective and get the stop there. But do they sacrifice a little bit too much in the passing defense is the question.
3 draft picks on this Indianapolis defense. Meliodas Manning, the safety, pick 74. Noah Davis, linebacker, pick 53. The other linebacker, Kenneth Gaston, pick 42. As Colin Hart rumbles forward, they're going to say he got enough for a first down.
As we hear from the crowd. Another first down. Yeah.
This might be a close spot here.
This might be, yeah. I think he actually got it, but we'll see if the red hanky hits the turf here, but I don't think it will. Just a nice push forward to be able to get just enough.
Adam Wiseman keeps the red flag in his pocket, but once again, Minnesota, they started this drive at their own 12-yard line, and they're inside the 30 already. Colin Hart rumbling down to the 23.
Every first down they get, I don't know if you guys can hear this crowd, but the Minnesota faithful yelling that it's a first down every time. Yeah, I love everybody.
We did when we had this time the challenge flag is going to come out from Adam Wiseman. They're going to challenge the spot of that ball. But on the first down thing, I remember the Houston convention that we had a good, strong contingent from Carolina there. We did something similar every time we got a first down. So It is not new to the convention space, but it is unique to the convention space.
If I'll tell you this, if this spot turns out to be wrong and they take away the first down, I can't wait for Indianapolis to yell that it's second down.
We'll see. That angle didn't really give us a good look at it. This one might, though, and he is... Oh, that's close. But is it close enough to overturn the call on the field?
I don't think it's enough evidence to overturn it. I think this is going to confirm it.
We shall see, but it is overturned. It is indeed second down and inches. Crowd having some fun with it. Indianapolis really retooled their roster on the defensive side. I mentioned those 3 picks, but also they got Butch Menner from Houston, Telemac Scarborough from London, also Jack Russell from London, and Mike Ryan, of course, from Louisiana. So a lot of new players on this defense for the Ramblers.
Colin Hart closing in on 200 yards.
He's going to get the ball again, this time on a pitch. He's got blockers out in front of him. He gets the first down and not a whole lot more. Nice tackle from Blake Prine. And it seems like it's been forever since we've seen the Indianapolis offense on the field. This drive, I'm going to say it's their best of the game for Minnesota.
Yeah, double-digit plays is likely what they've had so far, and they're still just outside the red zone.
Hart, middle, stopped up, keeping the legs churning forward, and picks up 5. Mac Dre on the tackle. First time we've really called his name so far tonight.
How big would this drive be if Minnesota were to come down the field on their first drive of the second half, get points, and get them up to a 38-14 scoreline after getting the Indianapolis stop on the first drive of the second half from them?
It would be huge, and already half the third quarter gone already. We have to start looking at the clock for Indianapolis as this comeback is looking less and less likely. Colin Hart bottled up and dropped for no gain by Adam Wiseman.
Good work, Colin Hart, there on the outside run, and Indianapolis' defense adjusts to sell out for the outside run. They've done a good job of containing him on this drive, at least.
7 tackles today for Adam. He's had himself a pretty nice afternoon. 3rd and 5. Let's see what they go with here. It is going to be Reno to pass the ball down the numbers and complete to the 4-yard line. Jay Taylor, his second catch of the drive is a big one.
Yes, it is. Gets them to first and pay dirt if they can get there, but the passing game has been alive and well for Minnesota on this first drive of the second half. Other than the one overthrow from Reno, Every throw has been on the money where it's needed to be.
And after I heaped praise on Adam Wiseman, he kind of got lost a little bit there in the middle of the field and opened up that passing lane down the center stripe. First and goal, Colin Hart, stretch run, diving in, touchdown, Minnesota.
Well, he doesn't need to go a lot of yards there, and he gets enough to get pay dirt. The dive in for the flair for the dramatics shows well, and that's the drive that Minnesota wanted in front of their home crowd, in front of the convention crowd. That's awesome for them. Caps off a beautiful drive that took at least 5 minutes off the clock.
And Indianapolis has been unable to stop this Minnesota offense. Dare I say, the most efficient offense of the weekend so far.
Yeah, this has been very, very good from them. The one fault that they've had is Reno's overthrows periodically, but for the most part, been able to contain it.
Even Mickey Melillo gets a shout-out for the extra points. 12 plays, 90 yards, and over 4 minutes of game time.
Yeah, good work from Minnesota. Indianapolis in a position now where they need points, and they need them soon. I would dare say don't go into the fourth quarter without getting some kind of score, hopefully a touchdown for them, on the board to give themselves a shot.
We mentioned we have a whole day of SFL action to get to. Coming up, we have a block of games in SFL Red Zone at 2 p.m. Houston at Sioux Falls, Canton at Jacksonville, Vancouver at Alamo City, and Atlanta at Louisiana. Then the next live game from the convention, it's Arizona and San Diego. That's Colin Northrup and Rick Northrup on the call. That's going to be always fun. We have our second block of games at 7:15. Charleston at D.C., Los Angeles at Las Vegas, Tulsa at Denver, and Portland at Seattle. And then to cap off the night, the streets are broadcasted as Chad Rowland and Andy Gage talk you through Fort Worth and Mexico City. That ball is deflected and incomplete.
Lots of games to get to today, and lots of football action for the remainder of the convention. A lot of fun to be had really everywhere, so good stuff there. Indianapolis in a spot, the second down needs to get yards. They do not want to leave themselves a 3rd and long, otherwise it could be a killer to any momentum.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Colin Pierce back to pass, checks it down to Pierce, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage and nothing more.
Well, they got the completed pass, but no positive yardage. Good work in the open field on the tackle. Didn't catch the number on that bus that came in and hit him like a truck, but either way, good work. Now Indianapolis in a spot where they need 10 yards. They do not want to stall this drive out immediately.
Pierce looking, throwing to the flat, and it's incomplete. It looked like the defender didn't even turn his back to the ball, and it bounced off him. He didn't even turn around.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a miscommunication on the receiver route. Roosevelt just kept going. That ball was well short of Roosevelt, and it's just hit the defender in the back. And Indianapolis is going to punt this away and give Minnesota good field position one more time.
Yeah, from the worst field position in the game at their own 10-yard line to now potentially the best field position. That is a nice punt, though, all the way to the 40-yard line. They'll spot it at the 41.
At least put it on the correct side of the 50 for Minnesota to start this drive, at least if you're Indianapolis and how they're concerned. But the way the last drive went, they took 4.5 minutes off of the clock on their previous drive. Now they have a chance to possibly end the third quarter while on offense if the drive continues the same way.
Colin Hart alone in the backfield. I do expect to see a fair dose of him in this third and now fourth quarter, but it is going to be Reno. He's backed up. He throws the ball. It's caught by France. He high points the ball over the head of Mike Ryan, and it's a huge completion into Indianapolis territory.
Yeah, you're talking about Minnesota just wanting to run the ball just to kill time, and Reno says, no, I'm good. I'm just going to heave this over the middle to my tight end and give him his fourth catch.
I think the mentality from Minnesota is first game, week one, rivalry game. We're not going to be nice.
No.
If the chance is there to run up the score, they're going to do it. 38-14 right now, 2:50 and counting in the third quarter. This time it will be a run. Colin Hart up the middle. He's going to get about 7, make it 8, as he's dragged to the ground by Mike Ryan, who has had a little bit of a tough introduction to the Indianapolis faithful today.
Yeah, a little bit. Not his best work that we've seen him when he was in a Revolution uniform, but at the same point, it's his first game. Jitters are there, playing for a new team, new organization. So this is a bit of a learning experience for him, and I know he'll come out better.
A lot of adjustments to be made by every team, even the teams that are winning. Minnesota stretch play. Colin Hart inside the 20 to the 24. Another first down.
3 plays, 3 plays, 2 first downs for Minnesota, and they've negated this good field position that the field position that Indianapolis gave them, and now are just outside the red zone.
That last replay highlight was on Dusty Wilson, the guard for Minnesota, who actually got 2 blocks on the same play. He got the first block that sprung Colin Hart to the outside, then he disengaged and then blocked the linebacker to get him more yards. Hart, middle, nothing. And that's the first time, really, in the whole game we've seen Colin Hart get a nothing burger on a run. Nice stop there by Adam Wiseman.
If there's a chance for Indianapolis to get this done, they at least need to hold the Minnesota to 3 points here. And I don't know how likely that is, but they're at least bottling it up Colin Hart. But the problem is Reno's been shredding them in the past game.
Under 1:30 in the third quarter. Reno to throw. It's just going to be a screen. Colin Hart breaks the tackle inside the 10. Gets a block. Touchdown, Minnesota. It's a hat trick for Hart.
Well, another finish to a good drive from Minnesota. This one not nearly as long, only about 2 minutes off the clock. But Colin Hart, again, going back to the bread and butter, the outside run. Or the outside, well, they're going to call it a pass on this side, but either way, you put Colin Hart in space, he's going to break a tackle or two in most situations. Open field tackling this man, not an easy thing to do.
And we've seen over and over and over again this weekend how you can't just put one defender on a running back. You have to commit multiple defenders because that first tackle is going to be broken a majority of the time. If you leave guys on islands out there, there's going to be big plays. We saw it with Charlie Boletsky yesterday. We saw it with Colin Hart today. We saw it even in a losing effort. We saw it with Ike McBride in the Carolina game. Big running backs are going to make big plays. You've seen that the top 13 or so contracts in the SFL are all running backs.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Now this drive becomes crucial for Indianapolis. If they have a shot, they need points on every drive from here on out. They cannot afford another punt.
All right, I'm gonna give you to the fourth quarter to think about this. I'm gonna give you some time. You cannot say the Vancouver game, but
okay. Which
game are you looking forward to the most for the rest of the day? I'm gonna give you a little bit to think about that, unless you have an answer right now. You cannot say the Vancouver game.
Okay.
But I will I'll let you ruminate on that. But Minnesota at home, favored before the game even kicked off because the home team has won every single game in this rivalry, now 5 games strong over 3 seasons.
Yeah, and looking to be 6 depending on how the rest of this fourth quarter goes. So fun times for the home team in this rivalry. And I'll tell you what, if as this play ends up for 7 yards, if the home team, if Minnesota doles out this kind of creative expression on the field for their game against their Central Division rival, I expect that Indianapolis will do something similar when these two teams meet later in the season on the other field.
I am sure, but of course, we don't know what the records will be like. Oh, look at that. It's like almost a WWE body slam on Pierce there, but he does pick up the first down. Again, I've been talking to all the convention goers this week, and the main theme that I've been hearing from everybody is this is week 1. Even more so than normal, you can't really rely on the results to give you an accurate depiction of where teams stand. Pierce breaks one tackle. Can he get to the sideline? Yes. A defender fell down in front of him, but he gets outside the 40.
Well, that was decent from but you're right though. Week 1, especially in this situation where you can't really rely on what got you here as far as your knowledge of what teams like to do in the old engine, that doesn't apply here. You have a lot of variables with the new environment that the SFL is in that really change the game, literally and figuratively, and make things much more entertaining.
Four's up. We go to the fourth quarter. Four's up here at the convention. Final frame on tap. Minnesota's got this one well in hand, 45-14. Curtis, do you know off the top of your head how many points Baltimore put up last night? Or Florida put up last night?
Oh, Florida was 45?
45. I think Motor City had 44. So Minnesota on track to have the highest scoring output of the weekend. This time a pass intended for Roosevelt is incomplete. They're a little bit too far. All they need is one more score, and they'll have that honor.
Yeah, I don't think any other team went into the 50 mark.
No, we have not seen a 50 yet this weekend. We could
Motor City had 49.
49? Okay,
yes.
Yeah, so one more touchdown, and they will have the highest score of the weekend so far. We have seen some large numbers on the scoreboard early on in this season as defenses trying to figure out what they're all about. Pierce, plenty of time in the pocket. He rolls out to his right. He throws deep down the numbers, and Roosevelt can't make the grab.
One of the more dependable targets in the first half as far as Indianapolis' passing game goes. Roosevelt not been able to make something happen so far in this second half, but now a 3rd and 10, another chance for Minnesota to get off the field and further cement momentum.
3rd and 10. 3rd and long has not been Indy's friend. Deep drop, throwing across the body, and it was just a little bit too far for Rob Hunt to stretch out and try and make the play.
That is, unfortunately, actually hit him in the helmet, I'm pretty sure. It's not quite enough there. 4th down coming and another punt for Indianapolis. And Minnesota's faithful are loving every bit of this Indianapolis issue on the offensive side of the ball.
Remember when Indianapolis scored that touchdown to bring it within 2 scores? It was at one point 14-21 in this game.
Pooched it.
Short kick. It's caught, and a flag comes down. I think they're going to get a face mask on this as well.
Man, it going from bad to worse when, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So that's not fantastic. That's a 15-yard penalty on the end of the return, and why not give him back good field position?
First face mask of the season. We saw a couple pass interference calls yesterday, but face mask also, you do see that called a lot. You see it's called clipping because this game is old, but it's really blocking the back.
Yeah.
You see illegal block of the back called a lot as well. Handoff, Colin Hartz. He got a block. He breaks a tackle, and he gets a first down out near midfield. And you go back to that punt, Curtis. I don't know if the punter shanked it or that was intentional, but the return man had to kind of leap in the air and adjust midair to make that catch. And you kind of thought for a second, oh, maybe what if he can't hang on to this? But it was a good job to grab that ball.
Hard to judge that ball in the air the way it was going. The direction was a little bit weird, going towards the sideline. So it is what it is at this point. Minnesota got the better of that exchange, and now they're going to go long.
They are going for the throat. Deep pass, Jay Taylor. That's been his bread and butter. I think he only has 3 catches, but they're all for 15-plus yards.
Yeah, another one over the middle of the field as well. That's been the danger zone for these quarterbacks to find yardage downfield. Both of the quarterbacks have been able to do it for the most part, although Minnesota's bottled it up on their side. Just Indianapolis not able to find the slot over the middle where this ball's headed.
Handoff, middle, Hart just gets 4 that time.
Yeah.
No, you were incorrect in your recollection. Motor City had 45 last night.
45, okay.
So Minnesota currently is tied for the highest scoring output of the weekend.
Where did Florida go then?
I will look shortly.
Okay.
They had 49. So
Okay, so
you were right that
flip-flop.
somebody had 49, but you
Got it.
flipped them. Handoff, Hart, strong side, got 2 blockers. He chose to go back inside. Does not get the first down, but does set up a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I expect they'll probably go back to Colin on this run as well. Why not continue to chew up clock? Just less than 8 minutes left in this fourth quarter, and give them a chance to chew up more yardage, chew up more clock just outside the red zone.
Look at this. And motion the tight end all the way out to the numbers. That's Jay Hayden out there. Haven't seen him make a catch yet today, but they're just good. It's a ruse to get more space up the middle for Colin Hart. He gets pushed down, but not before he picks up another move of the chains.
Yeah, that'll bring us down to 7 minutes left. This is very good clock management from the legend. No reason to rush things. Obviously, you don't want to rush things at this point. Just give Indianapolis 0 shot to get enough points to come back in this game. And, I mean, so far it's been 8 total scrimmage plays for Indianapolis in this second half.
And it's going to be more Colin Hart madness. 5 touchdowns on the day for Colin Hart. He matches Charlie Bletsky's performance from Friday night. Welcome to 4K23, number 23.
Yeah, very nice determination from Colin Hart. He broke 4 tackles, 2 at a time twice, to get to the end zone on that. And he still has 7 minutes left of play, and he's probably going to get the ball a majority of that time as well. So he has a chance to eclipse what Boletsky did.
It's a 50-burger for Minnesota in this ballgame. First one of the season. Malillo's extra point up and good. 52-14. Next week, we got more people doing the special teams chant now. It's catching.
I think Cliff Allen left the room. I think that's
somebody had to pick him up. Yeah,
exactly.
So next week, Indianapolis is at home against Mexico City, and Minnesota goes on the road against Alamo City. That is your 2 games for these teams next week, and it'll be interesting, right? Because both of those teams play later today. We'll see where those teams are at, but going off of kind of historical record and it's going to be a tough game for both of those squads. Alamo City finished the APF era on the upswing. Mm-hmm. Mexico City has been down for a couple seasons, but I have kind of faith in Ramos and from how he's talked about the transition to this game and how he kind of sees the league going forward, that I think Mexico City are in good hands. They've got Mike Daggs in the ownership group now. I think they're going to be a team to watch, maybe a sleeper team to try and make a run at the title this year. So look out for that next week. Pierce looking, throwing, tipped, incomplete, looking for Harleman again.
Yeah, more adjustment by the Minnesota defense, able to get into the passing lane. Again, one of the more consistent targets has been the fullback Harleman in the little seam route over the middle, and another job for Minnesota to get in front of it and make it a second and long.
Minnesota has cruised in the second half of this game, and that pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Can't even get the ball out there anymore. Max Knight with the knockdown. And we haven't mentioned his name yet in this game, but I want to give you a cool Axel Raven stat. Axel Raven moved from inside linebacker to defensive end this year, not playing in the middle of the field anymore. He has 5 career interceptions. 2 of those have been returned for touchdowns. Of course, that was back when he was playing as a linebacker. Not really sure he's going to get many picks as a defensive lineman. 3rd and 10, 5 wide set. Pierce rolls to his right, now takes off. First quarterback run we've seen in the game. He fumbled the ball, and it's right to Minnesota. Angela Meerkat says, "What's this? A football? Yes, please, I'll take that." Oh, what a hit, by the way, from Miles Gibson to punch that ball out.
I feel like there probably should be a second look there. I think the knee was down before the ball left the possession. We'll see, but I think they're probably going to end up living with the result. Sideline not in a hurry to challenge this. That's unfortunate for Indianapolis, and they've had a total of 10 plays from scrimmage this second half.
Handoff, Colin Hart. Does he get number 6? He gets down to the 21-yard line. So I never got an answer from you about what game you're looking forward to this week. I'm going to tell you mine. It's going to be that Vancouver-Alamo City game. From talking to Andy last night and to Robert Redford last night, I think Vancouver, it's all about how they're going to handle that two-back set. Alamo City looked good in the exhibition games, looked good in the preseason. How do they look week 1?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The dynamic, but you say that with the two-back set as far as Alamo City is concerned, but you look at probably one of the better two-back sets in the league right now, the fire and ice combo that is Robert Redford, the Hall of Famer, and then Logan Lee, the speed back out of those formations. I really like what Vancouver has done this season putting that together. Alamo City, no slouch though. That's a team that absolutely has shown that they have the dedication to put a good game plan together, see what they can do in that. I'm looking at Fort Worth, Mexico City later, the finale of the convention. I love that rivalry itself, and another first down for Colin Hart. But the rivalry, the Tex-Mex division, South Division, is one of the better ones in the SFL. Fort Worth definitely always brings a good game, and Mexico City is due for a bounce back after missing the playoffs a season ago.
I think you also don't want to miss Arizona and San Diego. You got the Northrops calling that game. Colin Hart, he wants 6. He's got 6. 6 points, 6 touchdowns. What more do you want from the man? Minnesota scores again.
Yeah, and they're going to be possibly looking at a 60 burger the way this game is going. What an effort. What an offensive output from the legend in this game. This has been a lot of fun for them to watch, for them to execute, and the game plan has worked to perfection against their Central Division rival.
It's interesting to see as the season goes along what defenses are going to do to try and combat this.
Yeah.
Do they, stack the box really heavily against some of these running backs, but then what do you do against Johnny Reno and the wide receiving core, right? Teams that are multidimensional like this give defensive coordinators nightmares because you can't stop them both. You can only hope to limit one and stop the other, and in this game, Indy has done neither.
You say that, but I don't think it's all about the game plan yet either, as this is going to be returnable. Look, I'll tell you after this play.
Banfield to the 25, to the 30, and spun down right there.
There's more to it than just the game plan at this point, because the thing is the offenses have the advantage right now because of where attributes are at, where progression is at early on in this era, in this season. As you see defensive players add points to their player, get progressions in, and get the practice and get the training in, you're going to see these defenses tighten up, and offensive plays that worked in the beginning of the season get stopped more or less in the later on in the season. So it's going to make things tighter. It's going to make coaches be more creative.
Over the middle to Roosevelt, just 5 yards on that play. The clock will tick down under 5 minutes to go. This is the 5th meeting all time between Minnesota and Indianapolis, and Indianapolis only one win, and it was in season 19. They won 19-16 in the lowest scoring game between these two teams back in Indy. Pierce around the outside, shoulders one defender to the ground, but doesn't pick up enough yards for the first. Indianapolis goes with a little up-tempo action here, 3rd and 1. Play action in the flat, complete for a first down. Will continue to go up tempo. Pierce, deep shot, incomplete. It's interesting, Chris, how they've used Joel Harleman primarily as a receiver in this game and not really as a runner.
Yeah, they have one rush for him today, and that was the first down that he got earlier. I think it was the second quarter.
It wasn't even him. That was Chad Rowland flexed to the fullback spot.
Yeah, so interesting decision-making and interesting usage of the fullback. Now they go 5 wide.
On 2nd and 10, 4:28 left.
Uh-oh.
And the blitz comes, and it's a catch. Nice poise in the pocket from Colin Pierce. He had a legend player right in his lap, but he still was able to complete the ball back shoulder to the far side. This time the pocket is better. It's short over the middle and caught by Harleman, who is out there as one of the wide receiver spots. In the flat again. First catch of the game for Rob Hunt. He'd been targeted twice and had 2 incompletions thrown his way. Pretty efficient right now for Indianapolis as they're inside the 30, but maybe starting to lose steam. They're only a 2-yard gain for Hunt. Against a 3-man rush. It's to the far side. Numbers, and it's dropped.
Hard to believe that was a drop and not a fumble. I thought I saw a possession move on that football, but not apparently so much. So good work by the secondary, good timing on the hit, and now they have a chance to huddle up. 3rd down coming, and Indianapolis trying to at least get some points here to make it more respectable.
It is not often you see Ryan Roosevelt drop a pass thrown his way. It was a vicious hit from Johnny Bravo that made him drop that. 3rd and 8 from inside the 30. We're sticking with 5 wide here. Pierce, 4-man rush, middle, tipped away. Another fantastic defensive play in the secondary. And it's going to be 4th down again for Indianapolis.
Yeah, I expect them to probably go for this. Go for the jugular, try to get some points, get a touchdown on the board, just for stat pad reasons at this point. Might as well.
Nope, they've got Topper Kiefer on to kick a field goal. They know at this point the victory is out of their grasp. They'll just take any points that they can. Maybe if it was 4th and 1 or 2, they would have gone for it, but they will take the 3 points on this field goal. 59-17 is the score right now. Another decent drive for Indianapolis. All 3 of their scoring drives have been 10-plus plays, 60-plus yards, very methodical, breaking down the defense. But outside of that, they really haven't had anything on the offensive side.
Correct, because they had too many 3-and-outs. They had 2 3-and-outs coming out of the first half break, and now they're going to try to get this ball back right away. And I just don't see this making much sense after going for the field goal, but here we are regardless.
That is straight at the defender, and it's going to be Minnesota ball with 3:35 to go. I think the sequence that you mentioned right at the beginning of the second half is what really killed this game off for Minnesota, right? It was a 14-point game at the half. Indianapolis had scored 2 straight touchdowns. They were building their way back into the game. They got the ball first, and they got 2 3-and-outs, and Minnesota scored 2 touchdowns, and that put the game out of reach right then and there.
Yeah, exactly. You get you stop the down team immediately coming out of the locker room at halftime twice in a row, and then you put touchdowns up as well, and that's going to put certainly a decent amount of separation as Colin Hart goes for 8 more. They gave him a first down there?
No, it's an injury. Mike Ryan, oh no! He's on the ground. Bad to worse for the legend as their safety goes down.
Minnesota's training staff trying to rub a little salt in it at this point, and that's not ideal for Mike Ryan and company, but, I mean, if there was ever a time to get injured, might as well 3.5 minutes
4
left.
yards to 300 for Colin Hart on the game, and that's just on the ground. He's had some receiving yards as well, has a receiving touchdown as well as the 6 touchdowns. Handoff, Hart, he's not going to get those 3 yards he needs right there. Only gets 1 of 2, brings up 3rd and 1, and the clock will run.
Yeah, they're going to just tick it down as fast as they possibly can. Good clock management again, and I swear Minnesota's been on the Indianapolis side of the 50 more than they've been on their own side of the 50 so far in this game, and I don't expect that to stop anytime soon.
It would not surprise me. The Sasquatch is real, especially here at the convention. And Indianapolis has definitely been stomped on today. Of course, they have a whole season left to pick it up, to make it right. And that's the beauty of week one.
Yep.
Is anything can happen in the next 11 games for these teams. Handoff. Hart needs 3 yards, needs 2 yards, needs 1 yard. I think he's 1 yard short of 300. But he will get plenty more opportunities to carry the ball in the last 2 minutes here.
Yep. Look, 300 yards for Colin Hart in week one, and that is a statement from Minnesota and a message to the rest of the Central Division and really the rest of the SFL as well. This is a good offensive team, to say the least, and their defense is no slouch either, giving up only right now 17 points to Indianapolis.
They do have to snap this ball before the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 from the 30. 59-17 Minnesota over Indianapolis here as we come down towards the end of the game. They do snap the ball. Colin Hart runs right. He's got 300 yards plus on the game today.
3 century marks for Colin Hart and 6 touchdowns. That's player of the week material. We have 2 minutes.
He's going to have to fight Charlie Boletsky for it, but I think Colin Hart has done just enough right now to be player of the week so far. There's the 2-minute warning as we inch down towards the end of this game. We do have a little bit of a break coming up after this one, but then at 2 p.m. it all kicks off. Houston, Sioux Falls, Canton, Jacksonville, Vancouver, Alamo City, and Atlanta, Louisiana in the first block as the broadcasters that are not here this weekend get a chance to be heard on some of those games.
Hey, SFL convention, make some noise!
And, of course, we got to talk about the fact that on Sunday, we all get a chance to show how actually unathletic we are at the SFL's first ever flag football game. Our avatars may be good football players. Nothing tells me we aren't, but we're going to get to see.
Yeah, Colin Hart close to a first down there, 4th and inches on it, and another timeout taken. But you're exactly right, and we get to realize our athletic dreams in real life this time and have our pain for the ride home.
Yeah. I
It'll
don't know.
Be great.
Those athletic dreams may be more, rolled ankles and hyper stretched limbs.
Yep.
And
It'll be great.
60 points on the board for Minnesota in today's game with another Mickey Malillo field goal.
Yeah, Mickey's been almost a special teams player of the week at this point for sure. He's been on money on everything that he's put up so far. So good work, and another one in the books for Minnesota. 62 points on the day for the Legend over their Central Division rival.
A major statement to start the season, and I think every team that is here at the convention this week is hoping to make a similar kind of statement in their games later today. Minnesota, you can't really find much wrong with their game today.
No, you're exactly right. Secondary's been playing pretty well. The one issue they had that bottled up pretty quickly, which was the middle of the field post route from Roosevelt.
Pierce looking, intercepted! And this one might go back to the house. It's going to be stopped at the 5. Miles Gibson with the pick.
Stop. They're already dead. That's really all you got. This is a shellacking. Although they have a chance for a real nice score.
They do, but are they in kneel down? I think they are in kneel down range. They are not in kneel down formation, though.
Oh, please do it.
It is.
Please do it.
All foot on the gas.
Got it.
Handoff. Colin Hart. Does he get 7? He's got 7. And Minnesota, 68 points. We were just told by Commissioner Cameron Irvine it's not going to be an SFL record for points in a game. That is 76. If I had to guess, that's probably a Minneapolis Maulers score from back in the day. Cam is nodding at me. That is correct. But looks like high-scoring games belong to the state of Minnesota in this league. And Colin Hart has just tied the SFL record for rushing touchdowns in a game. And it is 69 points in the game for Minnesota. And that might be the loudest cheer we have heard from this crowd all day, Chris Curtis.
Yeah, one would say this is.
And look who Harish Prasad just walked into the room as they scored their 69th point. How fitting is that?
There's no more appropriate moment for Harish Prasad to walk into a room than that right there. And that's awesome. You can't get any better than that.
It is going to be a happy ride home for the convention for the Minnesota faithful. Actually, I do need to applaud both of these teams right now. They have the majority of people here in this building right now are either Indianapolis or Minnesota. They've really showed out at this convention. San Diego also has a lot of people here. Vancouver has a couple people here. But those three teams really have made up the majority of the attendees today at the convention. Still 1:35 to go. Indianapolis continues to pass the ball. They will take their final timeout.
Gotta shout out Bullet Boletsky in the chat for saying, what's a guy gotta do to get player of the week around here? And that is excellent sportsmanship from Boletsky.
You'll get there, Bullet. You'll get there. Just it's Colin Hart's world, and we're just living in it right now. Over the middle, Roosevelt. Looks like the backups are mostly in for Minnesota to play out this final 123.
Oh, man. I really hope that Minnesota does not get this ball back.
Banfield, downfield, catch is made. We're going to go under a minute to go here as the hurry-up offense comes out from Indy. They just want something on the board. Their offense has been so stagnant all game, and they're going back to the well with the post route to Ryan Roosevelt to move inside the 30.
I mean, why not at that point? At least if they continue this, they'll make it a little more respectable, give themselves something positive to work with towards next week.
Pierce, Roosevelt to the 15. 45 seconds left. And a spike to stop the clock from Indianapolis.
Give them a chance to huddle out, get out of this formation, give them something else to look at, and see if they can get at least 20 points on the board. And, again, something to look forward to for next week, something to take as a positive. But, let's go 5 wide and see what they can do with it.
Second down and 10 from the 15 here. They are going to send one across the formation. That's Randy Pierce, the tight end. I don't think we've called his name at all today.
Right.
Pierce throwing inside the 5. Oh, look who it is! It's Randy Pierce. He gets to the 1 yard line. He can't get in the end zone.
I can't believe that wasn't a touchdown.
Under 30 seconds to go, they spiked the ball again. And we mentioned it right at the top of the broadcast, Curtis, but I want to give another huge shout-out to both of these teams and designing these special uniforms for the rivalry game. The Legend Killer with the Sasquatch getting run over on the helmet for Indianapolis, and the tire tracks on the jerseys, the check engine light, the Stomp Indy in the stripes for Minnesota. It's all in good fun, really. But this rivalry is turning into something great.
Give it to Randy.
Pierce,
Give it to Randy.
It's into the end zone. Touchdown for Ryan Roosevelt. It really should have gone to Randy Pierce. I want to go back later and look and see if he was actually across the plane, but this time it is a touchdown in tight coverage.
Well, it gives them something to lean on a little bit here, and it's kneel-down territory for Minnesota. So we know at this point that we know at this point that at least we have kneel-downs from Minnesota. We know we're going to end with a real nice scoreline from them. And is there any more appropriate time for 69 points on offense to come than at a convention week?
I'm not sure if the Minnesota Legend knew they were showing up to a football game today, because they have put up a basketball score on Indianapolis.
Yep, they've gone full college basketball on us for sure. The
ball is rolling around. I think Indianapolis fell on it. They did. The Ramblers get the ball back on the onside kick with 25 seconds left.
All right. Let's see a little more fireworks if we can.
The special teams chant comes out once again. Indy's offense on the field for the final time here. 25 seconds left. No timeouts left for the Ramblers. And funnily enough, this 5-wide set has been one of their more consistent offensive sets in this ball game. They've tried to go small ball. Minnesota's mostly been all over it. Pierce short. Banfield makes the grab, shakes a tackle, bounces off a second tackler, spins, stays in bounds, and gets a first down. Can you imagine if he stayed in bounds? He had a lane all the way to the house there.
That was wild from This play really looked dead 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then he's like, I don't know, I got this. Breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, and then down the sideline, walking the tightrope next to the white chalk.
He made a defender look absolutely silly.
Yep.
Just dove into the bench, catching nothing but air. They're still going to go aggressive here with 17 seconds. The clock did stop because Banfield stepped out of bounds. Pierce, the blitz comes. He gets the pass away. It's caught by Randy Pierce. Back shoulder going away. 362 passing yards for Colin Pierce. Still haven't seen Reno's numbers today. Another spike with 4 seconds. We'll have one more play. It is important to look at the post-game stats for Minnesota because Johnny Reno, 237 passing yards away from 10,000 in his career. We have not had a pop-up to show if he has gotten there yet.
I'm almost positive he's gotten it.
He is probably, if he hasn't, he's very close.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Colin Hart's been running the ball a lot, but I don't foresee a situation where Colin Pierce did not get it. Or where
this will be the last play of the game. It's a Hail Mary
Reno
towards the end zone, and it's incomplete. That will do it. Triple zeros. This is the roadkill chant comes out from Minnesota. They get the glory in the Central Division rivalry, 69 to 24. We take a look at some post-game stats. Almost 600 total yards for Minnesota, 253 passing yards. So it is 10,000 career passing yards for Johnny Reno obtained in this game. Let Colin Hart's achievements not overshadow that terrific achievement from Johnny Reno.
That is awesome. That's a fantastic milestone from Johnny Reno. 10,000 yards. But Colin Hart with an awesome day, and Minnesota with an awesome day. They are giving the sportsmanship line in the middle of the convention floor.
Looks like the end of a
now.
Hockey series.
Yes, exactly. They're finishing up the hockey handshakes right now. This is awesome.
41 carries, 312 yards,
Yeah.
averaging 7.6 for Colin Hart. 6 touchdowns on the ground, 1 in the air on a screen pass. I don't know if we're going to have a more dominant performance from anybody all season long than that. Ryan Roosevelt, not shabby, almost 200 yards receiving on 13 carries, averaging 14.5. But, again, you can't really say anything from Indianapolis today. They scored 24 points, but they were thoroughly dominated up and down the field in Minneapolis today.
Post-game interview with the Sasquatch, who's off to our right. How do you feel? Yeah.
You get 2 thumbs up from the Sasquatch.
I like it. There you go. Put him in the camera.
Yeah,
I like it.
Sasquatch gets back here. We got the mascot from Minnesota. Once again, we're going to get out of your way here. We got to set up for the next block of games. Remember, we got all these games coming up at 2 o'clock Eastern time. For Chris Curtis, Cameron Irvine producing, my name is Michael Torello. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are in the world watching this. Thank you for showing up at the convention and making it loud in here for a great atmosphere. We will see you at 2 o'clock for more SFL action. Have a great day.